In the last video we wrote an extended access list, and the extended access list is right here, and all we did is we denied host 2.100, this host right here, and we basically permitted everybody else in the network by putting in this line, access list 100 permit IP any source to any destination. So this is access list 100 deny IP 192.168.2.100, this host right here, wildcard bits 0000, and then to the 192.168.1.0 network, and then the wildcard bits 0.0.0.255. Now with the wildcard bits, it's the inverse of a subnet mask. So anyway, this line blocked this host from reaching this network, and then this line permitted any source to any destination. So that permits these two computers here, right, since they're any source, right, or anybody we put on this network, to reach any destination, meaning the 1 network or this 4 network or the 3 network in between these two routers, whatever. And then this access list was applied on this interface, which is closest, extended ACL applied closest to the source. This is the source, right? Closest to the source, which would be inbound on this interface. Okay? And that was the command that did that. So now what we'll do is we're going to add another piece to it, because with extended access lists, we can also deny or permit a port or a service, basically a different protocol. We can deny beyond just IP addresses. We can also deny other protocols as well. So what we'll do is, to do this, we'll make it fun, we'll go to the end devices here, and I'm going to grab this server, and I'll put this server on the 1 network. So I'll do that, and then I'll get a straight through cable. We'll plug that in here, and we'll plug it into the server here, right? And then we need to give this server an IP address. So this guy's 1.100. Let's make the server 1.254. So we'll open them up, and 192.168.1.254. Okay, and there we go. And of course we have to give them a gateway. 1.1 is the router gateway for him. So now this server is up and running, and if we go to config, you'll see that the server has a web server built into it as one of these one of the cool aspects of dragging out a end client host server. It's got the HTTP service, a web server, and it's on, and you can see here, so it's already ready to go. So now we have a web server, and I'm just going to put his IP address right here. Okay, if you want to double check it, put that right there, hover over, you can see it's correct. Alright, so now what we want to do is we're going to adapt our access list so that we can allow this network web access, port 80 access to this network over here. But we'll say we'll just allow it only to this web server, so we'll deny access to 1.100. So we're going to deny access to 1.100, but we're going to permit us to reach this server on port 80. Okay, and we're also going to permit us to allow to reach the 4.100 network. Okay, so let's do that. So what we'll do is we'll go into our router and go to config, command line, and I made the command line a little bit smaller so we'll be able to see longer commands. And I'll type enable conf t, and I'm going to remove the previous access list. So no access dash list 100. So that clears the previous access list, and now what we can do is we can write our new access list. So now we'll say access list 100, okay, permit, and then we'll say TCP. We have to permit the protocol for the web protocol with port 80. So instead of putting IP here, we put TCP. Then we'll say source, the 192.168.2.0 network, 0.0.0.255 is the wildcard bits, right? That's the source. And then the destination, 192.168.1.254. And we could do this and put wildcard bits here, 0000, 0.0.0.0, or we could put, I believe we could put in front of this the host command. So let's see if we can do that. So we'll just do that here. Host. All right, so permit TCP, this is the source, right? And then this is the destination, host 254, and then we'll say, whoops, go to the end, and we'll say, put a question mark, and you can see that now we can put the next command we need to put in is either a range of port numbers, or less than, a lower than a certain port number, or greater than, or what we're going to use is we're going to use equal to a given port number, right? Equal to a given port number, so EQ. So at the end here we'll put EQ. Let's stretch this out so you can see it. EQ, it's not stretching out far enough, space 80, right? So at the end here I've put on EQ equal to 80, and we'll hit enter. All right, so there's our first line in our access list, permitting the 2 network from reaching host 1.254 on port 80. And then we'll put another permit statement. So what we'll do is we'll say up arrow, access list, and this time we'll say permit IP 192.168.2.0 0.0.0.255, right? So the 2 network from reaching the 4 network. So 192.168.4.0 space 0.0.0.255. And then we hit enter. And so now we've permitted access to the web server, access to the 4 network, and at the end of the access list is an implicit, invisible, deny any. So it's not there, but if it was there, it would look like this. I mean, if it was visible, it would look like this. At the end of every access list is an implicit deny any if it's a standard access list, and if it's an extended access list, it looks like that. And that's on the end. But we don't even have to write it because it's there. We don't have to even write it. Now, we already have this applied, but if we were going to apply it again, we'd say interface FA 0/1, right? We'd go into the interface fast Ethernet 01, and we'd say IP tab access group access list 100 inbound, right? We've already put in that command, so it's already there. So we'll do a Control C, show run. You can see that it's applied on the interface right there. IP access group access list 100 inbound is applied, and then there's our access list. It's just 2 lines, and let's test it out. So now we can go to 2.100, and we can open up a web browser, and let's type in the address of the web server and hit go, and there's the web page, Cisco Packet Tracer, right? So here's a little web page that we reached. So we could do it, right? But if we open a command prompt and we try to ping 1.100, the host is unreachable. So we were able to reach 1.254 on a web browser, right? We were able to reach the web browser on 1.254. We were not able to ping 1.100, and we shouldn't be able to ping 1.254. Let's try that out, because only port 80 has been made available. So we'll try that out. So 254. It says we can't reach the server, but of course, and we did it. We proved that we could do it. Even though we can't ping 1.254, we were able to reach him here. Okay, and then last test is, can we ping the 4 network, host 4.100? We should be able to. Okay, there it is, reply. So that was successful. So that's it. And I will change this access list to show our changes. Okay, and I edited this text here to reflect the new access list that was applied and where it was applied, which is on this interface inbound.